Good evening, and welcome to Sleepy Night Channel. Tonight, we explore dinosaurs, with the heavy rhythm of footsteps shaking the ancient ground and the peaceful lives of giants eating from the high treetops. You can simply listen, slow and easy, and let your mind rest. Soft bell chimes and gentle ambience continue throughout, made for peaceful nights. If you'd like more calm bedtime episodes, you can like, subscribe, or leave a short comment below. It helps this channel reach others who need something quiet at night. Now, let's begin. We begin our journey by letting go of the present moment. We softly unplug from the modern world. The screens fade to black, the noise of the city drifts away. We are traveling back in time, drifting gently upstream against the river of history. We float past the ice ages, past the rise of the mammals, past the building of the mountains. We are going back millions of years, to a world that is older, warmer, and much wilder. We land softly on the earth of the deep past. This is the Mesozoic era, the age of the giants. The air here feels different against your skin. It is thick, humid, and rich with oxygen. It smells of heavy rain, crushed pine needles, and damp soil. There is no grass under your feet yet. Instead, you are standing on a soft carpet of moss and horsetails. Giant ferns reach up to your waist, brushing gently against you as you walk. The silence here is profound. There are no engines, no distant sirens, no planes in the sky. Only the sound of the wind moving through millions of leaves, and the gentle buzzing of dragonflies with wings as wide as birds. The sun is warm on your face. It hangs high in a sky that seems a deeper, richer shade of blue. This is a planet in its lush prime. A greenhouse world where winter never really comes. We are safe here. We are just observers, invisible travelers in the mist. We walk through a grove of ancient trees. Ginkgo trees with their fan-shaped leaves turning gold in the light. And towering araucarias, the monkey puzzle trees, standing like sentinels. Their branches are high above us, creating a ceiling of green lace. Sunlight filters through, creating dancing patterns on the forest floor. As we move deeper into this primeval forest, we notice the details. The bark of the trees is thick and rough, built to withstand a world of giants. Resin drips slowly down the trunks like golden honey, trapping small insects in amber time capsules. The ground is spongy and wet. Every step we take releases the scent of decay and new growth. It is the smell of a forest that has been growing undisturbed for eons. We come to a small clearing where a stream flows. The water is clear and cold, running over smooth pebbles. But the footprints on the bank tell a story. They are massive indentations in the mud. Some are three-toed, sharp and deep. Others are round and wide, like small ponds. Water has pooled inside them, reflecting the sky. These tracks are fresh. we realize that we are walking in a world of behemoths. But for now, the forest is quiet. The giants are somewhere ahead of us. We can feel their presence. A subtle vibration in the ground. A slow, rhythmic thudding that travels through the soles of your feet. It is not frightening. It is steady, reliable, like the beating of a great drum in the distance. We pause here by the water's edge, taking a moment to breathe in the prehistoric air, filling our lungs with the richness of this lost world. The oxygen makes us feel calm and alert. We watch a leaf drift slowly down from the canopy, spinning gently in the shaft of sunlight, before landing softly on the surface of the stream, drifting away towards the open plain. Let us follow it. Let us see who is waiting for us in the light. We gently push through the edge of the forest. The dense canopy of the trees opens up. Suddenly, the world becomes bright and wide. We are looking out over a vast green flood plain. It stretches out to the horizon, shimmering in the heat. A river winds through the middle, slow and muddy, reflecting the sun like a mirror. And there, dominating the landscape, are the giants. The sauropods. They are like living mountains, moving across the flat earth. From this distance, they look peaceful, like grey clouds that have drifted down from the sky and decided to walk. We move closer, keeping low in the ferns. We want to see them up close. We want to understand the scale of them. As we approach, the ground begins to tremble. Rhythmically. Boom. 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 It is a sound felt in the stomach more than heard in the ears. The footsteps of a creature that weighs as much as a herd of elephants combined. We stand near one of the massive legs as it passes. It is a pillar of flesh and bone. Thick, wrinkled, ancient. It looks like the trunk of an old oak tree. The skin is rough, covered in a mosaic of hexagonal scales. It is dusty and dry, crusted with the mud of the riverbank. You can see the scars of a long life etched into the hide. The foot lifts slowly. It hangs heavy in the air for a moment. Then it comes down. The impact pushes the soft earth outwards. Mud squelches between the heavy toes. A small puddle of water in a footprint vibrates, sending out tiny rings of ripples. We look up. Up past the heavy shoulders. Up along the impossible length of the neck. It tapers off into the blue sky. At the very end, tiny against the clouds, is the head. It seems too small for such a body. It sways gently back and forth, scanning the treetops for the softest leaves. It is calm. It is focused. These animals live in a different version of time. Small animals, like mice, live fast and jittery lives. But giants live in slow motion. Their nerves are long. Their signals take time to travel from the tail to the brain. They do not rush. They have nowhere to be. Their only job is to eat and to grow and to endure. There is a deep peace in that slowness. Listen to the sound of their breathing. It is a long, hollow wind. Inhale for a long time. Hold. Exhale, a rush of warm air. It sounds like the ventilation of a great building. The air travels down that long windpipe, deep into cavernous lungs, filling the massive chest cavity with oxygen. We watch one of them feed. It approaches a tall conifer tree. The neck reaches out, flexible and muscular. The mouth opens. We see the teeth. They are simple pegs, not sharp, not grinding. It clamps onto a branch. With a slow pull of the head, it rakes the branch clean. A cascade of needles disappears into the mouth. It does not chew. Chewing takes too much time. Chewing requires heavy muscles. Instead, it gulps. We watch the lump of food travel down the neck. A slow swallow moving down a long hose. Down into the dark fermentation tank of the stomach. Where biology does the work that teeth could not. The herd is communicating, but not with roars, is less than Hasson. 5 hash is greater than, the air around us vibrates with a low, throbbing hum. It is a subsonic rumble. Too deep for our ears to fully hear, but we feel it in our chest bones. It is a comforting sound. It means, I am here. It means, we are together. It binds the group together invisibly across miles of forest. We notice the young ones. They are not small, but compared to their parents, they are tiny. They stay in the middle of the herd, protected by a wall of grey legs. A forest of living pillars. They walk in the shadows of the adults. Safe from predators, safe from the heat. Learning the slow rhythm of the migration. The smell of the herd is earthy. It smells of crushed pine needles, of warm, damp skin, of fermentation and wet soil. It is a heavy, organic scent. The smell of life on a massive scale. Flies and beetles buzz around their flanks. Tiny birds hop on their backs, hitching a ride. To the birds, the dinosaur is not an animal. It is a moving island, a landscape to live on. The sun begins to dip a little lower. The shadows of the long necks stretch out across the grass. The herd moves on, slowly, inexorably. They leave a trail of flattened ferns behind them. A road made by their passing. We watch them go, fading slowly into the mist of the late afternoon, leaving us in the quiet vibration of their wake. we turn our attention away from the horizon. We look down. While the giants shake the earth, a whole other universe exists right at our feet. The world of the undergrowth. It is a secret kingdom of shadows and soft light. We crouch down in the moss. It is thick and spongy, like a green velvet cushion. When you press your hand into it, water seeps up around your fingers. Cool and clear. This is a world without flowers. There are no roses here, no daisies, no bright petals to attract bees. Instead, it is a world of green geometry. Ferns are everywhere. They unroll their fronds in perfect spirals. The fiddleheads, tight coils of potential life, waiting for the sun. They look like the scroll of a violin. Structured, precise, mathematical. We watch one gently unfurl in the damp air. A slow-motion bloom that takes days to complete. The light down here is different. It filters through layers of leaves above. It is soft and diffused. A dappled pattern of gold and shadow that shifts as the wind blows. It feels like being underwater. Safe, hidden. Protected from the heat of the open plain. We hear a rustling sound in the dry leaves. Something small is moving. A lizard scuttles over a fallen log. It stops. It freezes. Its skin is a pattern of brown and green scales, perfectly camouflaged against the bark. It blinks one golden eye. It is waiting for an insect. Patience is the rule of this world. The art of sitting perfectly still. The insects here are ancient designs. Dragonflies patrol the shafts of sunlight. Their wings are transparent stained glass windows. They hover, then dart away. Beetles with shells like polished obsidian crawl slowly over the roots. They are the recyclers, turning the old wood back into rich soil, keeping the cycle of the forest turning. We see a spider web stretched between two horsetail stems. It is covered in tiny droplets of morning dew. Each drop holds a perfect reflection of the forest. 100 tiny worlds suspended in a silk net. The spider sits in the center, still as a stone, trusting the vibration of the web to tell her when dinner arrives. In the distance, a small dinosaur moves through the brush. It is not a giant. It is the size of a chicken. It moves with jerky, bird-like motions. Head bobbing. Tail balancing. It is covered in soft, downy feathers. Not for flying, but for warmth. It looks fluffy, approachable. It scratches at the ground with a clawed foot, turning over leaves, looking for a grub or a beetle. It finds one, snaps it up, and moves on, quietly disappearing back into the ferns. A ghost in the machine of the forest. We sit back against the trunk of a tree. The bark is rough against our back. We close our eyes for a moment and just listen. The buzz, the rustle, the drip of water. It is a symphony of small sounds. This micro-world is busy, but it is not chaotic. Every creature has a job. Every leaf has a purpose. It is a balanced system that has worked for millions of years. Long before we arrive to name it, the sun climbs higher in the Jurassic sky. The morning mist burns off, revealing the true colors of the landscape. The deep greens of the forest. The rusty reds of the soil. The bright blue of the open water. Heat begins to radiate from the ground. We can see the air shimmering above the rocks. A gentle distortion that makes the horizon dance. This heat is not just weather. It is fuel. For the creatures here, the sun is their battery. We watch a Stegosaurus lumber out of the shade. It moves heavily, planting each foot with deliberation. Its back is covered in large, diamond-shaped plates. They stand up in 2 rows along the spine. These are not just for armor. They are solar panels made of bone and skin. Rich with blood vessels just beneath the surface, waiting to catch the warmth. It finds a spot in direct sunlight. It turns its broad side to the east, maximizing the surface area. It stands perfectly still, eyes half closed, letting the photons strike the skin. We can imagine the feeling. The pleasant warmth spreading from the back, deep into the core of the body, waking up the muscles, turning the blood from a cold sludge into a flowing river. The engine is slowly coming online. Around us, other animals are doing the same. Small lizards flatten themselves against warm stones, turning their bodies into dark absorbers. Even the massive sauropods seem to pause in their eating, turning their long necks towards the light, closing their eyes for a moment of pure sensory appreciation. There is no rush to move. Not until the body is ready. Not until the sun gives permission. As the heat builds, the world speeds up, but only slightly. Insects buzz louder. The feeding becomes more active. Tails sway with more energy. But by midday, the sun becomes a heavy weight. The light is vertical and intense. The shadows shrink to nothing. And the rhythm changes again. The activity stops. It is time for the siesta. The giants move back towards the tree line, seeking the cool relief of the shade. They lean against the massive trunks, or settle down into the soft ferns, folding their legs beneath them like cats. The forest floor becomes a dormitory. Breathing slows down again. Digestion takes over. We sit in the shade with them. The air here is cooler, smelling of pine resin and damp earth. We watch the dust motes floating in shafts of light that pierce the canopy. It is a suspended moment, a pause in the day. Even the predators are resting. The heat makes everyone equal. Too hot to hunt. Too hot to run. Only the cicadas continue their song. A rising and falling drone that hypnotizes the mind. This dependency on the sun creates a life of balance. Activity followed by rest. Warmth followed by cooling. There is no artificial light to extend the day. No reason to push past the limits of the body. When the sun says rest, they rest. It is a simple rule. One that we have forgotten, but can relearn here. In the quiet company of the sleeping giants. We leave the sleeping adults in the shade. We move quietly towards a secluded part of the forest. A place hidden by thick ferns and tall conifers. The ground here is different. It has been cleared of debris. Carefully maintained. We have stumbled upon a nursery. A nesting ground. It is a sanctuary of new life. We see mounds of earth rising from the forest floor. They are not random heaps. They are built with purpose. Scraped together by powerful legs, but shaped with surprising tenderness. Inside each mound, there is a hollow, lined with soft moss and decaying leaves. The rotting vegetation creates a gentle heat, a natural incubator, keeping the center warm even as the day begins to cool. In the center of the mounds sit the eggs. They are arranged in neat circles or spirals. They are not smooth like chicken eggs. They have a texture, rough and pebbled like the skin of a cantaloupe melon. They are elongated ovals, pale and speckled with brown to hide them in the shadows. Inside, life is waiting, sleeping in the dark. A large dinosaur stands guard nearby. It is a Maiasaura, the good mother lizard. She is massive, with a flat, duck-like bill. But her movements are incredibly careful. She walks between the nests without disturbing a single twig. She lowers her head to check the temperature, nuzzling the soil with her snout, adding a few more leaves to keep the heat in, taking a few away if it gets too hot. She is a gardener of life. We hear a tiny sound, a high-pitched chirp. It comes from one of the eggs. A crack appears in the shell. Then another. Slowly, awkwardly, a small head pushes through. It blinks in the filtered light. It is wet and clumsy. Its legs are too weak to stand. It calls out. a demanding, hungry squeak. The mother responds instantly. She does not roar. She makes a soft, guttural, cooing sound, a vibration deep in her throat. She leans down. Her giant head, capable of crushing branches, hovers gently over the hatchling. She regurgitates soft food for it. Nutrient-rich berries and leaves already chewed. Easy to eat. It is an act of pure devotion. This is not a cold world of reptiles. This is a warm family. The hatchlings stay in the nest for weeks. Their bones are growing stronger every day. Their legs are getting ready to run. But for now, they are safe, surrounded by the earthen walls of their home, watched over by a giant who will fight the world to protect them. There is no fear here. Only the smell of damp earth and the warmth of a parent's breath. We sit near the edge of the clearing, watching the slow interactions. The grooming, the feeding, the sleeping. It reminds us that caring is ancient. Love is older than humanity. It existed here, in the swamps of the Cretaceous. A soft thread connecting the generations, keeping life safe through the long, dark nights. The hatchlings huddle together in a pile, seeking warmth from each other's bodies. Their breathing syncs up, little chests rising and falling in unison. The mother settles down beside the nest, closing one eye but keeping the other open. A sentinel of peace, watching over the future. We leave the shelter of the nesting grounds. We follow the winding river until the trees begin to thin out. The air changes. It becomes cooler, fresher. It smells of salt and wide-open spaces. We have reached the edge of the continent. Before us lies the ocean. But it is not the Atlantic or the Pacific, is less than Hasson. 2 is greater than, it is the ancient Tethys Sea. A vast, tropical waterway that circles the globe. The water is a brilliant turquoise, warm and inviting. We stand on a high cliff overlooking the water. We look up into the sky. It is not empty. Silhouettes are moving against the clouds. They are the pterosaurs. They are not birds. They do not have feathers. They are masters of the air, built from skin and hollow bone. They do not flap frantically like sparrows. That would take too much energy. Instead, they glide. We watch a large Quetzalcoatlus drifting overhead. It is the size of a small airplane. Its wings are made of a tough, leathery membrane, stretched tight from a single elongated finger down to its ankles. It catches a thermal, a rising column of warm air. It spirals upwards without moving a muscle, riding the invisible elevator of the wind. Higher and higher, until it is just a speck against the sun. Silent, effortless, free. Far below, the ocean has its own rhythm. The waves roll in, crash against the rocks, and pull back. It is a sound that has not changed in millions of years. The heartbeat of the planet. In this warm, shallow sea, life is exploding. Great reefs of coral stretch for miles, teeming with ammonites in their spiral shells, bobbing in the current like corks. We see a dark shape moving under the surface. A long neck breaks the water. It is a plesiosaur. It looks like a snake threading through the body of a turtle. It breathes air, just like the dinosaurs on land. A spray of mist shoots up as it exhales. It takes a deep breath. And then, with a graceful arch of its neck, it dives, slipping silently beneath the waves, down into the blue twilight. It swims with 4 powerful flippers, flying underwater. The movement is slow and rhythmic, like the beating of slow wings in a heavy sky. It is a world of slow motion, where gravity has less hold, where giant animals can float weightlessly, suspended in the liquid darkness. The horizon is empty. There are no boats, no lighthouses, just the curve of the earth and the endless water. The clouds above are building into towers, huge white cumulus clouds reflecting in the sea. Everything here is big. The sky, the ocean, the animals. It gives you a sense of perspective. Your own worries feel very small against this backdrop. Tiny grains of sand on an infinite beach. We sit on the warm rock of the cliff, feeling the sea breeze on our faces, listening to the call of the pterosaurs. A lonely, echoing cry that drifts down from the heights. The sun is beginning its long descent, turning the water from turquoise to gold. The day is aging. The energy is settling. The world is preparing to turn. We turn away from the coast. We look back across the vast interior of the continent. The sun is lower now. The light has turned golden and thick. It catches the dust hanging in the air. We see a great cloud moving across the plain. It is the herd. They are on the move again, following an ancient map stored deep in their instincts. The seasons are changing. Even in this greenhouse world, there is a rhythm. The dry season is coming. The lush greens are turning to soft browns and yellows. The waterholes are shrinking. And so, the giants must walk. They are pilgrims of the earth, traveling hundreds of miles to find the rain. They do not rush. They walk at a steady, plodding pace, one foot after the other. We watch the column of animals stretching out to the horizon. It looks like a living river, flowing slowly through the valleys. They have walked this path for generations. Grandmothers leading mothers, mothers leading daughters. The knowledge of the route is passed down in the silence of the walk. They know where the food is. They know where the safety is. This journey is not a struggle. It is a cycle. Just as the Earth orbits the Sun, the herd orbits the continent. Round and round, year after year, century after century. There is a comfort in this repetition, a promise that life goes on, that the pattern holds. We think about how long they have been here. Human history is a blink of an eye, a few thousand years of noise. But the dinosaurs reigned for 160 million years. Let that number sink in. They saw mountains rise up from flat land. They saw oceans open and close. They watched the continents drift apart like rafts on a slow pond. And through it all, they thrived. They were not failures. They were the greatest success story the planet has ever known. Masters of stability. While the world changed around them, they remained constant, solid, enduring. The keepers of the earth. The dust from their passing settles on the leaves. The sun dips closer to the horizon. The shadows stretch out, long and thin, covering the land in stripes of cool darkness. The heat of the day is finally breaking. A cool breeze whispers through the dry grass, carrying the scent of distant rain. The herd smells it too. They lift their heads. A low rumble passes through the group, a sound of anticipation, of relief. We feel the scale of deep time wrapping around us. It is a heavy, comforting blanket. It tells us that there is no need to hurry. The universe takes its time. Evolution takes its time. The rocks under our feet take their time. And so can you. You are part of this long, slow story. A quiet chapter in the book of life. The colors of the sky begin to change, from blue to a soft, dusty violet. The first stars are waiting behind the curtain of light. The day is almost done. The great migration is slowing down for the night. Even the river of giants must rest. The momentum is fading. The stillness is returning. The sun finally touches the edge of the world. The great fire in the sky is going out. The colors of the day drain away, replaced by the soft, velvet blues of the twilight. The shadows have grown so long they have merged together, covering the land in a cool gray blanket. The air is still. The wind has dropped. The heat has lifted. The herd has stopped moving. The migration is paused. The giants find their places for the night. They do not lie down quickly. It is a slow, careful process. Knees bending, bodies lowering, until the massive weight settles onto the earth with a final, heavy sigh. They are grounded, anchored by gravity. One by one, the long necks curl around, resting their heads on their own flanks, or laying them gently on the soft moss. The eyes, which have watched the world all day, begin to close. The lids are heavy, thick and leathery. They slide down slowly, shutting out the last of the light. The sounds of the day are fading. The buzzing of the flies stops. The calls of the pterosaurs are silenced. A new chorus begins, but it is softer. The rhythmic chirping of ancient crickets. A steady, hypnotic pulse in the darkness. It is the lullaby of the Mesozoic. Simple, repetitive, boring. Perfect for sleep. The forest is now a silhouette against the stars. The Milky Way appears overhead. A river of diamond dust spanning the dark sky. It looked the same then as it does now. The stars do not change. They watch over the sleeping giants just as they watch over you. Indifferent. Eternal. Peaceful. The breathing of the herd deepens. It slows down to a crawl. In and out. Deep and slow. The vibration of their snoring travels through the ground. A gentle hum that rocks the smaller animals to sleep. The whole world is syncing up. Everything is heavy. Everything is still. You are part of this stillness. Your breathing matches theirs. Your body feels just as heavy, sinking into your own nest, safe in the dark, protected by the night. There is nothing left to explore. The map is rolled up. The journey is done. The footprints in the mud will be waiting for tomorrow. But for now, they are just shadows, fading into the black. The history books are closed. The museums are locked. The science is finished. You do not need to think about millions of years anymore. You only need to think about this moment. This breath, this quiet room. The dinosaur is asleep. The ancient world is asleep. And you are drifting with them. Drifting. Floating. Sinking into the deep, warm mud of sleep. Letting go of the names. Letting go of the time. Letting go of the self. Just a breathing creature in the dark. Resting. Recovering. Waiting for the sun to return. But not yet. Not for a long time. Now, there is only silence. Heavy. Soft. Complete. If you are still awake, you can subscribe to Sleepy Night channel for more calm night journeys like this. That was 100 calm facts about dinosaurs. Now the sound will continue for a while, so you can fall asleep. Good night.